We have two little brown tabs on each side. What we're going to do is take our screwdriver, push those forward. That unlocks the lock on the ribbon cable. Once you're sure it's unlocked, just lightly pull it away, set the keyboard aside, and take your screws and set them in the keys so that you know those go back in the keyboard. And then again, set that aside so that you can access it later. Next, what we're going to look at is the connections going to the screen. Remember earlier, the wireless card had two wires going to it, a main wire and an auxiliary wire. What we're going to do is we're going to pull those wires up with our screwdriver again. Pull them up until you get the antenna ends, and if they're caught somewhere, just sort of shake them around, make sure they're not caught at the bottom, which actually where mine are caught are right in that little wireless card bay door. And once you free them, they should just easily come out. And you want to unloop them all the way until you get to this little strip of gray tape that holds them down. Once you get to that little strip of gray tape, just peel it back a little bit, enough to remove the wires, then peel it back so that you know that you need to take the wires back when you get done with it. Next, we're looking at this second wire that's coming out of the monitor. This is your wire to send power and the image to the display. So basically what we're going to do with this is peel back this little sticker to make sure we're not ripping that off when we remove this. And what this has is a little black tab that folds up. What you do is you just pull it straight up to remove the connection. Don't pull it from the side or anything like that, because you'll end up bending some pins, and possibly you'll need to replace the screen if you break off some of those pins. So after we remove that wire, just fold the screen back again. And next what we're going to do is remove the screen, since all the connections to it have been removed. There's 4 screws holding down the screen. First of all, we're going to remove the inner screws, just the 2 inner screws, and we're going to set that aside so that it can be placed with the monitor later. Then we're going to remove the 2 outer screws. Make sure you secure one hand behind one of the sides, because when you remove the other screw, the monitor has the chance of falling back. And if it doesn't fall back and it's kind of difficult to come out, you can't lift it straight out, bend it forward a little bit and lift it straight up and off of the computer. And I suggest you take these 4 screws, just lay them on the screen. They're not going to scratch it or anything. Set the screen down in a safe area so that you can put it back on safely later. So now what we're going to look at is the screws. There's 2 screws right here in black plastic right above the touchpad, and we're going to remove those. And since there's so few screws on this part of the take apart, I'm just going to set those on my desk so that I know where to put them back. I just remembered these 2 screws here are brown, and the other screws up here, there's 3 screws up here that are also brown and of the same length, so it doesn't matter. I can put all of those screws from up here and down here in the same area. So I've removed those 2 screws. I'm just going to remove these other 3. Again, the same length, same color. And I'm just going to unscrew these 2 right here in the middle. And since they are a little hard to get out, I'm going to have to turn over the computer and just put my hand under there, tap them out, and there we go. Again, I'm just setting these in one little general area. And I don't believe you have to, well actually I do believe you have to remove these 2 silver metallic screws right smack dab in the center. If I can find my screwdriver that I just had. Okay, here we go. And we're just going to remove those screws, and since there's only 2 of them, and there's only about 5 other screws, we're just going to set those aside on the desk instead of putting them in a container. So, after we got all those screws off, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the notebook over, and we're going to look at this front speaker grill portion here. if I can get this all in frame. Basically, take a look at this edge right here where you see the speaker grill. Pull forward and pull up on the bottom case so that it unlocks it. On the other end, we're going to do the same thing. Just pull the speaker grill forward and unlock the case. And what we're going to do is then grab the sides of the base and lift the bottom case completely off and put that in a safe area. So now the only thing you have to undo now is 2 screws for the AC adapter. We're at the base of the computer. You can see the motherboard, the heat sink, and the fan for the microprocessor. And at the same corner that the heat sink and fan are is your AC adapter. You can see it right there. You can see I've already done some work on this. This one doesn't need to be repaired, but I'll show you probably where yours needs to be repaired. So to undo this AC adapter, you just see these 2 screws here. You just unscrew them and you pull back and it should come out freely. So we're just taking these 2 screws out and I'm going to set those aside. And try to keep it in frame here too. I can't see the screen of my camera, so sorry if I'm off frame. And like I said, to remove it, you just pull it back and lift it straight out. There we go. So the areas that this AC adapter go bad on, probably the most common areas is with the stem right here for this. Well, actually I've been saying AC adapter is really a DC adapter. So hopefully you guys recognize that instead of recognizing it as an AC adapter. You can see I've done a little bit of work here just to support the stem because that's where mine went bad, and that's probably where yours went bad. And all I did was solder at the base, solder at the stem itself, and put some solder at the side where there's a little metal support that stops right down here. And basically, that keeps it straight and keeps it from moving around. And when I plug my power cord into it, you want to just basically look at the back of your work, make sure it's not moving too much. It's okay if it gives a little bit, but do it a couple of times after you do your solder work to make sure it's not moving around. Or the other option is to go ahead and look up this specific part for your notebook, and you can go ahead and order this for, I believe, around 20 or 30 bucks. Hope you can see the model number here. Maybe it's different for your specific model, but you should be able to Google that information to find that out. That's probably the easiest route also, because this little AC adapter has been repaired about 3 times. I actually gave this notebook away. They gave it back when they finally broke it for the 3rd time, dropping the notebook on its power cord sideways, so the stem just disappeared into the case, and you can see the plastic is just wrecked on this one. I switched them out with a Dell laptop that has a little bit different of a connector that's a little bit more rugged than this. But like I said, the easiest way is just go ahead and replace this on Amazon.com or eBay or something like that. If you're going ahead and you've decided to do it my way, which is kind of messy, like I said, go ahead, test it. Make sure that your AC adapter is not shaking, DC adapter is not shaking around or anything like that. And what you want to basically do is then plug it in. Make sure that you're getting power to your power cord and look for any type of smoke or anything like that. Feel around at the bottom for any warm areas. If you have any warm areas, you have positive to negative contact, and you need to go back and find those areas. Make sure that they're not touching anymore. So once you do that, go ahead and reinsert it, just like I showed you how to take it out. Just plug it right back in, and what we're going to do is plug it in and test it. Basic way to test it. You don't need the hard drive or anything in, or the screen.